Hey, thanks for pressing play. Welcome to the Sun's Jam Session podcast. I'm your host, John Voida, managing editor of BrightSideOfTheSun.com. It's fun, it's free, it's the Phoenix Suns. Stop by there, read what we have to write. A lot of really good articles being pumped out by our writing team as the Suns prepare for free agency and simply as we navigate this funky season that is the 2024-2025 Suns. Tonight was no exception. The Suns go into Washington, worst team in the league, 6-37, and they win by a total of 7 points. And as I welcome my podcasting partner Matthew to the pod, what a weird win, man! Like, why can't we ever be comfortable?
It was there. I think this is probably one of the first comfortable games we've had in a while. I think with 5 minutes left, you think they have it, and then they get close. The Wizards do, and I'm like, when they're only down by 6, I'm like, I hope the Suns lose. But I think they deserve to lose this game. But no, I'm glad Booker hit that 1-3 to kind of put the nail in the coffin. You know, when he hit that one, he's like, I'm making this shit from the corner. You could tell it was going to go in. So thank you, Book.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, and I was sitting there too. I'm like, dude, if we lose this one, this is going to be, burn this fucker to the ground. But at like the 7-minute mark, the Suns are easily and comfortably up in the fourth quarter. No issue, at least from what I thought. But again, the Suns kind of, they'll test you. They'll test your patience. Yeah, they were up. What was they had a 23-point lead in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Taco Bell. I've been eating well all week. I want a cheesy gordita to crunch on because I knew that you're working a little bit late. We're going to have a little bit of a lag time between the game ending and the show starting. I'm like, I'm going to smash on a cheesy gordita crunch. And as I'm sitting in the drive-thru, listening to John Bloom call the game, they're within 3 points like that. I'm like, what the fuck happened? But that's the Phoenix Suns this season, Jamsters. So we appreciate you hanging out with us on the Suns Jam Session podcast. If you haven't done so already on the YouTube feed, subscribe, rate, review, give a thumbs up at very least if you can. If you got the time, please do so. If you're listening to the podcast, please give us a 5-star review. If it's on Apple Podcasts, write a little something. It's been since October since we've had any reviews, and I kind of blame your lack of reviewing on that's the reason why the Suns suck. The Suns suck. Oh, hey, we have a review. Matthew, we have a review. That's why we won tonight. It's from J. Pelton Vegas 3 days ago, 5 stars. Solo Pods is the title of the review, and says, thanks for the Solo Sun pods while you both get better. Appreciate that, brother. I know that I got a little sick. Matthew got a little sick. The Suns make us sick, so sometimes it's hard to just come on here, but we powered through it. We're both back here for you, so enjoy the show. But on that note, Matthew, I'm going to go ahead and crack open this teeth-cracking cold Diet Dr. Pepper, although I was talking to Justin on the last podcast. Have you tried Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar?
No.
A lot of people, Justin was drinking it during the show, and a lot of people are saying it's better than DDP. So I'm going to crack this open.
Right.
And we'll have to try it sometime. But let's talk about this. Right, Jamsters, the Phoenix Suns do win. They win by a final score of 130 to 123 over the Washington Wizards. They move to 20-20 on the season. They're still fighting up those NBA standings, have a way to go. But as everything sits right now, the Suns are the 11th seed, but they're tied with the Kings and the Warriors, who are all 20-20 right now. And they're only 4 games back of the 4 seed. So with half a season to go, it's not the end of the world. But I do have a question for Matthew.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
God, there's like two things I want to do here. I have a question for you, but I was on the
Mhm.
pod with Justin last time, and I asked him this, and I know what his answer would be, and I know what your answer would be. Like, do you listen to the Ryan Russillo podcast?
Yeah,
Okay, so
some of it.
when he's
Yeah.
reviewing games very quickly, there's a couple things that he does, and one of those things is when was it over? Have you ever heard him do that? So he'll just kind of go.
No, I don't think I don't think I have.
So essentially, he'll be reviewing a game like he's talking about the Notre Dame versus whoever the hell Penn State game, and he'll just be like, "Okay, when was this over?" Well, it was over when this happened. It's not always like when the ball ends or a turnover happened in the third or what have you. So I guess that's the question I'll start with. When was this game over in your eyes? Because you could have like three different answers. I feel.
Well, from what I actually saw in the last 5 minutes, because I was working. Yeah, I honestly didn't think it was over because of the way that the Wizards did come back. So the way that this team kind of gives up these little runs here or there, it's acceptable in the NBA because it does happen. But when the turnovers continue to pile and pile and pile, and especially late in the game when you can't even trust Tyus to keep straight with the ball and just he kind of juggles it here and there, then you're looking at a team that can give up the lead anytime and then give up a win anytime. So I thought it was over, honestly, with the 5 minutes left to go. I thought it was over when maybe Bol was actually on the floor. I'm like, oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
actually getting garbage minute when Bol's playing. But I didn't think it was over till Devin Booker hit that three in the corner to put them away.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the majority of fans watching, myself included, thought it was over when Bol was entering the game in the third quarter. We're like, holy shit, we are so far up that we're going to bring in Bol, whose father played in Washington with the Bullets. We're bringing him in, and the 27 people who are actually at the game are going to have something to cheer about. But it wasn't over then because the Phoenix Suns are the Phoenix Suns. And I want to get into their struggles and I want to go kind of get into my frustrations, but I want to start on the positive note. And you're correct in saying this game was over when Devin Booker hit that three.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Big Dick Booker.
So Devin Booker in this game ends with a total of, I had it and I lost it. It's 37 for Devin Booker, 10 of 24 from the field, 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. He also added to his total 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and like a lot of Suns, a high turnover amount. He led the team in turnovers. He had 4. But what are your thoughts on Devin Booker? I mean, ever since the move of Bradley Beal to the bench, even though obviously Bradley Beal was not available in this game, Devin Booker has been looking like Devin Booker again, right?
He has been, and it might be more difficult too for a lot of players out there that you take on a star like Bradley Beal. This doesn't really happen ever, right? I feel like no teams really take on a Bradley Beal when you have a Devin Booker. Maybe this is the only time this has ever happened in the history of the NBA. But for Booker to actually have to step up and be in the starting rotation without Beal and Beal taking a back seat, maybe there are talks, maybe there are things going on behind the scenes where they're okay with it. They have adapted to it, and they all agree upon this is the best thing for the team. The way it actually happened, though, is Beal he got the news. He's like, okay, and you could tell he was a little stuck up at first, and it was really a difficult situation for him to kind of blend into the bench. Now he's hurt and stuff, so he kind of figured that too. But for Booker to actually start now and to be by himself in the starting line, to be the true shooting guard, it just shows like how powerful he is as that guy, and he can make you believe he's an all-star again, right? Because right now, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
with the all-star voting out, he's not going to make the all-star game because the Suns' shitty season. No one believes in this team. I still don't think Booker and Kevin Durant are enough to win a championship. But Book is just taking upon himself to put up these sneaky stats, man. I mean, the assists are always up now. The ball movement, especially Bradley Beal being out, him and Tyus having to own the ball, like that's great. That's what you want. You want those two guys to really maneuver the ball and to just take ownership of it, to take on the offense. And those two guys have been doing a great job without Bradley Beal being in the lineup tonight. And Devin Booker taking the step up and get those 30 points, just saying, like, this is my team. Beginning of the season, it was Kevin Durant. But now we see how Kevin Durant is. He's not the same as he was before. So it's really up to Booker to take the next step, to go up a notch. And I feel like he has been doing that lately.
Well, and I feel like the reason behind it, and I've mentioned this on a few podcasts in the past. So, if you're listening and you've heard me kind of explain it this way, I apologize, but it bears repeating that the move to bring Devin Booker or to have Bradley Beal go to the bench essentially wasn't so much about him and Bradley Beal being duplicative. It's more of Tyus Jones, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker on the court at the same time aren't good. They're a negative 71 this season together, those three. And it makes sense. You look at the offensive numbers, and they're good offensive numbers. The team, when they're on the floor, is shooting almost 40% from beyond the arc. You know, they're scoring 2.35 points per minute. They're providing productive offense. But the issue is when you have those three in the court defensively, you're screwed. Like Tyus Jones is too small, and then you have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, who are both average size shooting guards, and one of them is playing small forward. So you will get picked apart. So what Coach Budenholzer has done is he's adjusted to this team. He moved Beal to the bench unit, and when Tyus would go out, that's when Bradley Beal would come in. And Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, if you look at their statistics last year when they were on the court together, you know, they were plus. It was the team overall was, you know, plus 136 or whatever it was. So they play well off of each other. But at the same time, Devin Booker in this since January 5th, that's when the change began, right? It was 11 days ago. The team's played 7 games, and he's upped his offensive output. He is now averaging, since that change occurred, 29.3 points per game. He's shooting 36.4% from beyond the arc, which is really good for Devin Booker, right? Not a great 3-point shooter. 7.7 assists per game, 4.4 rebounds. He's outscoring in the same time frame. Kevin Durant is now at 25.4 points per game, and still doing what he does, 54 from the field. His 3-point shooting has really fallen off, and that's kind of why his numbers are down. He's 27% from beyond the arc since this change occurred. So I'm not going to go as far to say that, you know, Devin Booker supplanted Kevin Durant as the best player on this team. I stand by my statements earlier this season that Kevin Durant is our Batman. Devin Booker just can be the best Robin. Well, right now he is being the best Robin. Katie's shooting percentage is a little bit down. He's fallen off a little bit, just a little bit. And you have Devin Booker having the ability to stand in there and step up into the moment against shitty competition, mind you. All these have been shitty games that we've been playing against.
Yeah, definitely. And do you ever see like a future where Devin Booker does take over as a number one guy? You think it's going to ride out into the playoffs if we make the playoffs that Kevin Durant's going to be the number one? So do you think Booker can take that over? Because I know in the beginning of the seasons, last season and this season, especially me, I wanted Booker to be the best player and thought he was going to be. I don't know do you think that could be the case as the season ends? No,
I don't.
Okay.
I think he has the ability to step up in certain games based on matchup and be the best player. But over a long period of time, if we were to take a 7-game series, if the Suns want to win a 7-game series, they need Kevin Durant to be the best player because he is the stopper. He's the one who has a better shooting percentage. He's the one who's unguardable. Devin Booker's very guardable. You throw a long physical wing player at him defensively, and you're going to take him out of his game. I don't care what you do to Kevin Durant. You're not going to take him out of his game. He'll take himself out of the game by turning the ball over, but you're not going to take him out of the game.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I think we'll get to the Nick Richards thing though, but right now, like, you know, the boy that Booker's stepping up and hitting these shots, it's just kind of crazy how we go through that timeline of like Beal being in the lineup and like you said, those three just not playing well together. And we're so excited about Tyus Jones to move the ball around and be a facilitator, but it doesn't work. And then having to have Beal go to the bench, like having to deal with all that, and Book's still kind of just been there. He's been healthy. He's been available. And to just kind of like all the noise with Houston now going on about, you know, Houston likes Devin Booker. They're interested in Devin Booker. Like there's
good
things
for them.
Yeah, it's like there's things that are going to come out when we're struggling. So it just always made me forget during that timeline of like how good he actually is, because I just haven't seen it all year really consistently. There's never been a moment where I'm like, fuck, I'm glad we have Booker on the team. Like I just haven't been that way till maybe as of late.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Because again, like I mentioned, in the last 7 games, this is when he's stepping up. He's averaging nearly 30 points a game. I think in the 7 games since the switch happened, either 6 or 5 of those games have been 30-point performances. So what I appreciate is how Coach Budenholzer has adjusted to who this Phoenix Suns team is. He came in here with a system that was very 3-point heavy, and he essentially was like, you know what, we're going to try my system. Let's see if it works. And he has a history of teams that shoot over 30 or 40% 3-point rate. So 40% of their shots are from beyond the arc. And it's something, I've mentioned it before, but it's something that has never happened in the history of the Phoenix Suns. The highest 3-point rate they ever had was 39% during the 7 seconds or less era. Go figure.
Wow.
So it's not something that they're accustomed to doing. So he's completely changing it. Obviously, Devin Booker's been here for 10 years. So he's never been on a team that's shot this many threes. And for the front end of the season, I'm going to pull a graph up. I'm sorry for those who are listening, but for the beginning of the season, you'll see that the Suns' 3-point rate was high. They went over 50% 1 week. I believe that was week 5. They went over 50% of their shots were from beyond the arc. But if you notice, there's a couple things here. I've got a graph that shows the 3-point rate percentage by week for the Suns, as well as the 3-point percentage. The 3-point percentage for the Suns, it's pretty flat overall. They're a good 3-point shooting team. They shoot about 37% from beyond the arc on average. But what Budenholzer has done is that 3-point rate, it used to be close to 50%. It's closer to 40% now. They're decreasing the amount of 3-point shots that they're taking. And tonight's another great example of that. Total 3-point shots that this team attempted tonight was 34. That's not blowing it away. That's them trying to get into their offense, understanding who their team is, and Coach Budenholzer trying to coach to who his players are. And that's why the Beal move is important. That's why Booker now getting comfortable. Booker was asked to adjust to Bud's system, and now Bud's adjusting to Booker. And I think that that's valuable.
It is, and it's just, they're all adjusting to each other, right? There's not a whole lot of turmoil because we're not sticking with the same plan till the end of the season. We're not trying to put guys on the roster. We're not trying to add some players through the middle of the season and make some trades because they know exactly what they need to improve this team. And it's starting with the front office that's making moves, the coach making moves, the players are actually listening. They're paying attention to what needs to be adjusted, and they're adjusting to what the coach wants. The coach is doing the opposite with the team. And what Devin Booker has obviously done is kept his mouth shut. And I think that's why we love Devin Booker's, because not saying like, hey, you should stick to basketball. I'm not saying that, but he doesn't cause any chaos with the media or anything like that. He stays, no matter how frustrated he is, he lets it be known, like, I'm going to be simple. I'm going to be like the Bill Belichick of all players and just kind of be like, I don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Not give into it unless they're talking about the Lions game. He just doesn't care. He's going to ride this thing out. And he's not, Steph Curry, what he said after the last game with the Warriors, if last night, their 1-point win over the Wolves, he's like, just everyone fucking calm down, basically. Give us a chance to get this together, right? He said that. He usually never does that. But these players probably do get frustrated with, like, we're trying to figure this out. We're only halfway through the season. Give us an opportunity. And you know what? They're making adjustments. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing to make this thing work. And we got to keep quiet and still and just see how this thing pans out.
And it's something that's been frustrating for us, obviously, as Suns fans, because we'd like to hear a little bit more transparency from Booker. We'd like to see him get a little fire under his belly, if you will, because we want him to be a leader. And that is what we define as a leader. And that's just never been who Devin Booker is. But the addition of a true point guard and starting him hasn't worked out as planned. Noted. Kudos to Bud for making the move rather than running the same lineup out there night after night, attempting to appease the egos rather than winning games. Vogel, because that's what fucking Frank Vogel did last year. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to Seth Logan Hopkins, 1999 in the chat. He says, love you guys, 2 exclamation points. Love you, Seth. You're always in here on our post games, hanging out, commenting. Appreciate everyone who comes and hangs out and joins us on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to YouTube. You can talk. There's a bunch of people firing off in the chat. Really good conversation that occurs on the Suns Jam Session podcast. All right, now I'm going to get a little pissed off here, okay? Because this should have been a better game for Phoenix. This should have been the ass kicking that it was for so long. Nothing's ever easy for the Suns, is it? Like, they roll into Washington to face a team that's practically waving a white flag, and they handle their business. They have a 7-point victory. Like, good job, another win in the bag. That's all you want right now, right? Stack those dubs, move on. We're back to 500. Who cares how it happened? Wrong. Something's got to give with this team, Matthew. And yeah, I feel a little ridiculous dogging a team that just won. But here's the deal. They led by 24 at one point. 20 fucking 4. And somehow they let the fucking Wizards, claw back to within 3 in the fourth quarter. That's not just sloppy. That's a thesis statement on what's broken with this team. The Suns flirt with success, and what happens? They lose focus. They get lazy. They start playing like they're auditioning for the Harlem Globetrotters, flinging passes around like it's a comedy routine. But here's the rub. They're not an entertainment act. They're not out here for laughs. Although, let's be real, it is inadvertently hilarious how they do this shit to us time and time again. 16 turnovers led to 29 points for Washington as a result. Live ball turnovers. That's what that means. Lazy passes, bad decisions, a red carpet rolled out for the Wizards to feast on easy buckets. Washington outscored Phoenix 32-13 in fast break points. That's the stat. If I got to find the Stat Me Dave button because it's not in this version, because that's the stat of the night. Because that's another thing I want to do. I want to start doing the stat of the night. And that's the stat right there, 32-13 in fast break points. And so here we go again, hemming and hawing about what Phoenix needs to fix. It's not rocket science. It starts inside. It's edge, it's attitude, it's leadership that doesn't tolerate drifting off mid-game. Someone who demands focus and punishes complacency, man. So great job, Suns. Way to fucking win 7 points against the worst team in the NBA. Clap it up. I've seen a lot of bad basketball this season, and trust me, the Wizards are terrible. But hey, you managed to make them feel good, look good, and at the same time, you made yourself look bad. So congrats. Way to go.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job really keeping it a close competition this year on Twitter, the Suns and the Wizards, with just the outrageous things you would see on the court and just off the court. I feel like they were kind of neck and neck, right? The Wizards they own it. They know who they are. The Suns are not supposed to be in the same, I feel like, category as that team when it comes to like Twitter, just being like, what the fuck did the Suns do today? What the hell? What are they doing on the court? What happened? That's the way it was with the Suns. But we did talk about the trades, the adjustments and all that. And like you said, the fast breaks it's a big thing, but also just the 29. Did you say the 29 points off turnovers that the Wizards had? Yeah. So
yeah,
it comes down to still to me to Devin Booker and Katie, and just taking a hold of this team. And if they can put this team over the top, no matter who they have or on the roster, right? It should be good enough with those guys. And if Beal's healthy. They have a lot of holes, and it's just the sloppiness at the end too with the turnovers, even from Booker and stuff like that. It comes from their mental weakness again, and you continue to see it over and over again. And I think when they get when they're too hot in the game and they're up by 20, what was it, 24, the biggest lead at 24 points,
and 23 in the fourth.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they do get comfortable still. And they talk about it in postgame a lot of times. Like, we got to fight through that. We got to stop being so comfortable. We got to fight through those moments to kind of put our foot on their necks. They say that a lot. And they keep doing it over and over again. So it is mental, and it's on the players, it's on the coaches, but it's on Devin Booker and KD. And if they can get Jimmy Butler here to have those guys that really have this thing just I trimmed up. You got to just make sure that this is not happening after the trade deadline and then maybe a month before the playoffs start, because if this is still the way games are, then we have no chance at all.
Yeah, it's pathetic. And anytime, even on a night like tonight, where I saw it was 5:00, I knew we were playing the Wizards. I'm like, this should be a nice, easygoing night. Even on a night like tonight, you have to be pissed off because the Suns just half-ass it through. So that shit ain't gonna fly in Detroit, man. Because Detroit, who we play on Saturday, is a hungry team trying to prove something, and the Suns are just going through the motions. They're playing their like a top seed, coasting to a playoffs, when in reality they're just clawing to make the play-in. They gave up a 40 spot in the fourth quarter. They gave up 34 in the second because the same thing happened in the second in this game. The Suns were up easily. Their largest lead in the first half was 20, and they let them cut it right down because the same thing. They started just lazy passes. I mean, some of the most comical lazy passes I've seen this season. And it's unfortunate because this team has so much talent, but they can't get out of their own way. What the fuck is all this in the chat?
Yeah, I was like, is there like a pregnant joke going on by that's that's a burner right there, right?
Lissy seems a lot more mature since he got pregnant.
Was I pregnant? Was that why I was out the last pod because I was pregnant?
Aura Lissy is nice. And then you have who was it? Keith Nettles
It's
chimed in.
Funko, isn't it?
I don't know. Probably.
It is.
Lissy, show us the bump from Keith Nettles. Yeah, it's got to be Boyd. Boyd, now we've now identified that you're.
I knew it after the second comment that it was him.
Yeah. Danny McCauley.
Yeah, there's no way we have anybody attractive like that watching our pod. So I was like, there's no way that's real.
Aussie Suns fans, does your wife know that you're using her YouTube fucko?
Oh, is that hers?
Probably.
Well, there's a compliment to your wife.
They share a phone.
You know what's funny is out east, like those teams, like I feel like the East is stronger than the West right now. Do you feel that way? The star power, like if you look at the All-Star votes and who's actually like in it, I feel like the pretty much who's starting right now, like not the starting 5, but if you had to go with 1 through 12, I would take the East. I feel like the East just looks sexier. We have just a bunch of washed up guys in the West that are like holding their teams down because they're too old right now to move on and just kind of let these other younger guys move in. You know what I mean? Like Kevin Durant, like Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Steph Curry's obviously great, but it's like those names are just like, like I want more. Like you go to the East and it just looks a lot more entertaining to me.
Yeah, I think you're talking about players and you're right there. And I look at teams and I kind of feel like the East has a very, very low floor. I mean, we know because we've played the Wizards tonight, and that was a bad team. That's why I'm so F-bomb and frustrated, because that was just a bad team that we played tonight. We made them look good in the end. The Hornets are bad. We've played them twice last week. So recency bias says, well, the East isn't that good, but that's because the two teams that we've played 3 times are bad teams, and we lost to one of them, mind you. But the thing about the East, to your point, is they have some competitive fucking teams in it. Like Detroit on Saturday, that's a tough out. This isn't Detroit from last year. That's a tough out. They hustle. They have some. The East has been bad for a while, and because of it, they've been draft capital hordes and teams that have built youth. And youth is the Achilles heel for the Suns. Because again, when you're old and you just, you're looking at the clock and it's close to your bedtime, you're like, guys, don't give us too much of a fuss. I got to get back to the hotel. I got to go to bed. Like that's what the Suns are playing with and against right now internally within themselves. So yeah, the East is, it's not as, they have some bad teams, but right in the middle, like if you compare the middle of the West versus the middle of the East, in my opinion, the middle of the East is better.
Yeah, you think there's like a shift though in the NBA right now, like the actual drive in these players individually to want to get the accolades and want to get to championships, or is it more just about making the money, getting the commercials, the shoes, and all that stuff now? Do you know what I mean? Like it's more about like what question. I feel like that's more the focus of this. It's like more like a reality show right now in the NBA. I just you know what I mean? Like there's competition. There's guys that want to win, but I feel like these guys are okay if I don't win, I'm okay. I'm good with it. Before, I feel like when LeBron was at his peak and stuff like that, there was dogfight, man. I feel like almost every other night with these teams going head to head and proving themselves. Now it's just like it doesn't seem the same. It doesn't feel the same. There's still exciting games out there, but I just don't feel like these guys care as much, and nor should they. I don't think it matters because they're making a ton of money and they're fine with it. You know what I mean? I just think the competition's a little bit different now. Just seems weird.
I agree. It's a couple different factors. One, you have the player empowerment era, where it's not about me, or it's about me. It's not about we. It's not about overall team success. Because to your point, it's like, well, at the end of the day, I'm still going to be okay, and that's fine. But it's also a product of these. This is the generation that came up in the social media era. Yeah. Like the guys who are getting drafted right now have never had not had an iPhone in their hand since they were 9 years old. And so everything about them is a brand. They always have been, based on their talents, they've always been exposed to critics of what they do. So they're very cautious in what they do, but they don't have that competitive nature and drive that Kobe had, Jordan had, LeBron has. There's a different level of player, and that's what's going to ultimately set certain guys apart from other guys in this league. Is they're going to want it more. They're going to work harder for it. But you do have, and the other side of this is we're too exposed. You and I have a fucking podcast, like back in the day, media had limited access to players.
Yep.
Players kind of lived their lives, and the narratives, maybe Jordan didn't give a shit, but we were just told he did. I don't know. But I feel like, yeah, when you constantly have that spotlight on you at all times, you have a different mentality and you operate in a different space. And yeah, when you're making as much money as these guys are now, when you lose, like Jordan Poole, this is a great segue into Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's ass. Jordan Poole's a horrible fucking player. Jordan Poole is a drama queen. He got like elbowed on a play, and he like 3 minutes later, he was like hunched over. Like, I'm like, dude, like they didn't call the foul. Like, get over it, bro. So bad. Did he foul out? He had like 5 fouls in the third quarter. But he got paid a ton of money, and he had that mentality. He's the one who made the statement, like, my legacy's already cemented after winning with the Golden State Warriors 3 years ago. My legacy's already cemented because he has generational wealth now. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not dogging the generational wealth. I'm dogging the mentality that comes with players who are empowered to go where to get paid as much as they are and are constantly seeking out that highlight moment. Because that's what Jordan Poole does. Jordan Poole on this one play comes down the court. He's wide open. No one's around him. And he doesn't just take 2 steps forward to shoot a 3-pointer. He's got to shoot the 32-footer, right? Got to make it look good for the IG. And it's a brick. And that's just modern basketball.
Yeah, it's disappointing at times. I kind of think, the statement I want to kind of make with the NBA, like, it's not a downfall. I feel like it's always going to be entertaining. But the whole competition thing, just players kind of not – they're going to play to their best ability, but I think they're not going to care as much just based off of, like, the Celtics winning the championship and Jason Tatum not winning the Finals MVP. Like, it still wasn't good enough, right? He won a championship and he got dogged so much after that the winning, the parade, all of it lasted a few days.
He did like a little part of what other people have done. Like when he celebrated, he did the Kevin Durant, he did the Kobe pose. Like, that's what people were dogging him on. They're like,
well, he didn't win the Finals MVP too. So, like, I think these players realize too, like, it's never going to be good enough. It's not going to be ever good enough. Like, we can be the best players. Like, and that's what I was thinking about with Kevin Durant. Like, just kind of like telling Book, like, look, like, I won championships. I did everything possible and they still hate me. So it's kind of like, you just have to accept that you'll never be good enough to please these people. But I feel like that has and maybe they're more sensitive than before too, right? I don't know.
I think they're just more exposed to criticism. So it may come off as sensitive, but they're also getting criticized. Again,
yeah, it sucks.
Jason Tatum won a championship. He was happy in the moment. He said things, like, what are they going to say now? And then people are like stitching that next to Stephen Curry saying it one time after he won. They're like, he's not original. Dude, just let the guy win.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Did you listen to Bill Simmons today?
No.
So he did his like NBA poll power rankings, and when he got to Phoenix, he had some interesting things to say about Phoenix. And one of them, he's like, not saying this is nothing, but I'm just going to note it. This is another. You watch this team; they're unhappy. They're an unhappy team playing together. He's like, just saying, like 2019. He goes Kevin Durant. He goes 2019 Warriors, Kevin Durant, unhappy team. 2023 and 24 Nets, Kevin Durant, unhappy team. Last year's Suns team, unhappy team. It's like, I'm not saying it's nothing, but I'm not saying it's something either, right? And then he also said that the Suns right now, because of the way that, with the Jimmy Butler rumors and with Jimmy saying he only wants to go to Phoenix and Phoenix leaking that if he can come here, we'll pay him. They're like, Matt Ishbia's like he's the drunk guy who shows up at the bar, and the Suns kind of right now are the guy in the fantasy league who will reach out to you and be like, listen, I'll give you DeAndre Swift. You give me Justin Jefferson. We're just trying to make trades happen. We're the annoying team. He's like Phoenix is everyone in the league is annoyed by Phoenix right now. That's what he kept saying.
Yeah, and I don't blame them because we're always going to be buying these players now, kind of like the Yankees. And I think that Kevin Durant obviously he probably does realize like how this does follow him around, obviously, because he does mention it, and he does, he's available to the questions and he'll answer straight back in a serious tone where he can kind of hold guys accountable in the media, like he did sometimes in the shoot arounds where, I forget who was asking him about.
But he's like, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think? Like, like how this team's changed and things changed. And I feel like whoever asked him, I think it's the older guy, I forget his name, my bad, but he kind of just was like, well, just you come here and based off the salary and all that. I feel like he kind of backtracked, but he was kind of headed to a point where it's like, yeah, you came here and things just drastically changed. Like the whole mood, everything. I think the most exciting we get about this team most excited we get is like media day before the season starts. And once we start playing basketball, we realize like, oh shit, like, the 8 games we had was great, but like we just realized like, oh, like this is not fun at all. Like, so there is something there with KD for sure. This team needs to find joy, and we can't blame just Booker and KD. It starts with everybody, but you know what? There is always one guy in all the situations, so it's just kind of hard to overlook.
Agreed, and it's an unhappy brand of basketball. This is why I like talking basketball with you, Matthew. These are good conversations. I'll tell you what does make me happy. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 Ryan Dunn, a career night tonight with a total of 18 points. Is that right? 16 points? 18 points?
18 points, yeah.
18 points. What am I looking at? I'm not looking at something right. Oh, I was looking at the plus minus was 4. I was like, it's not 4 points. Yeah, 18 points. He had 11 rebounds, 8 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Way to go there, Ryan. He had a steal as well, a block shot. No steals, 1 block shot. But, I was thinking about this during the game. One, I don't give Ryan Dunn enough love. The dude's a rookie and he's starting on this team and he's holding his own and he looks good out there. And you have to remind yourself again, he's a rookie. He's only going to get better from where he's at right now. So I'm going to ask you this question. Who's been a better rookie? Ryan Dunn or Mikal Bridges when he was a rookie back in 2018?
I think, I'm going to have to go Ryan Dunn. And the only reason is because the expectations weren't this. I think we saw some guy with that was, had the effort, had the gym rat mentality that was going to get better for shooting. He's a guy that you knew was a winner and that we needed that defensive mentality, obviously, on this team. We didn't know he would step up into a role where we had to rely on him and also Oso. I think, obviously, when Mikal Bridges came over with DeAndre Ayton, there was a lot of frustration on Ayton's part, which I feel like kind of took away from Mikal. Mikal didn't really develop into anything for another couple of years, maybe. Ryan Dunn obviously has a while to go. But this team, when you look at it on paper, you're like, I'm excited about Ryan Dunn, but I don't feel like he's going to be the reason we're winning games. I feel like he is the reason we win a lot of these games because of his effort. And now that Josh Okogie's gone, he has to do even more. Now that Okogie's gone, we have a big center now that's going to be in there. He's going to be great. He's going to be good, whatever. I don't know. He has the energy and stuff, but losing Okogie, you miss that edge. And I think Ryan Dunn has that, but he has to kind of make up for that now. So I'm going to ride on him, even though I don't want to, because I just think that he had just come out of nowhere and he might be one of the bigger steals in the draft.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying Dunn in the chat. And I put a poll out there, and thus far, with about 300 votes, Ryan Dunn is winning 63.8% to 36.2% to Mikal Bridges. Now, you look at Mikal, and his statistics are better. Points per game goes to Mikal, 8.3 to 7.2. Rebounds per game, tied, 3.2 apiece. 2.1 assists to Mikal to only 0.9 for Ryan Dunn. 3-point percentage, Mikal, 33.5%. Dunn at 31.5. And free throw percentage. What do you think Ryan Dunn's free throw percentage is? Give me a random number.
Let's say 84%.
47.4.
Oh my god! I don't even think I remember him shooting a free throw.
Exactly. He doesn't. He doesn't go a ton. Yeah. But you make a lot of valid points, and I don't disagree. Mikal Bridges was a great defensive player. We know that on a team that was really, really bad, and we were thankful that we got somebody who complemented what this team was, and he grew into being one of the best fan favorites that I remember. But Ryan Dunn's on that same trajectory because, to your point, he's a steal in this draft. For where the Suns were, I mean, you got to remember that draft, Ayton, and then we got Bridges. I mean, we had 2 lottery picks. This team, with the talent that it possesses, to have a draft pick and go out and get a guy who's now starting for you, and it's because he's earned it, and because his skill set complements Devin Booker and Kevin Durant so well. I think, and I get it's recency bias, but I think that Ryan Dunn has been the better rookie. His upside is great, and his hustle is fantastic, and he looks like he belongs. So I too go with Ryan Dunn for the better rookie, but ultimately, time will tell how his career progresses. But it's a steal. It's truly a steal to get him where the Suns got him. And it's something that, James Jones gets dogged for a lot of things. And we don't give him enough credit for how he's actually drafted, outside of the Tyrese Halliburton / Devin Vassell swing and a miss for Jalen Smith. He's done a really good job.
Yeah, he has. And the way this team's kind of like panning out, if we didn't have him even in the locker room, I don't know. Like, how would this team even have any fucking fun? Like, do they even want to come to work? I just feel like they always talk about like who's the funniest people on the team. Like, they always ask that question. Like, a few times they asked it, and it's usually like Oso or Ryan or like Okogie was one of them, or Bull. But like those two guys always come out of like who's your favorite teammate. They're always on the top of the list.
Yeah, good locker room guys. Exactly what the team needs. And so kudos to him. 18 and 11 from your rookie, like that's impressive. I don't care if it's a bad team. That right there, we call that impressive.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Where is she? Where are we? What the fuck? Not a lot going on in Washington tonight. Everyone must be watching the Commanders, getting ready for the Commanders. Commanders. That's the stupidest fucking name. I still can't get over the Commanders.
It should be the Washington football team, dude.
Yeah, that was good. I love the Washington football team. Commanders, it's like, the commies, the C words.
C words.
Monte Morris and Tyus Jones. So many recent Wizards on this team. These fuckers really let Allen dunk on them like that? We didn't even talk about Grayson Allen. He had a great... what did he end with?
21 points.
21. He had 18 in like the first half. He was crushing it in the first half, and then just they went away from him because they thought they didn't need him, and they're idiots. I hate Grayson Allen so much. Top 5 punchable face in the league. We hear that like every pod. Like the last one, it was like Devin Booker, top 3 punchable face in the league, and somebody commented, they're like, he's not even the top 1 on his team. Grayson Allen is standing right there. KD claims he loves everything about DC except for playing for the Wizards. Yo, Suns with their best Wizards impression. LOL. When we just started turning the ball over. Oh, Lord. I forgot they have Bowl. So basically, in the fourth quarter, when they are 6 minutes left and the Suns are up 105-73, they'll put him in and get cheers and entertain the crowd. Bowl coming in sooner than I imagined. And that's all I got for the subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, let's say we do Jamstar and then talk some Suns transactions.
Jamstar of the game.
All right, ladies and Jamsters, go ahead. Tell us who your Jamstar of the game is if you're watching along live in the chat. If you're listening at a later time, just turn to the person next to you and just whisper softly in their ear who you think the Jamstar of the game is. So you could be like, Devin Booker. They're like, what the? And you're like, hey, man, I'm just here to get a cheeseburger. It's Western bacon cheeseburger. You made 7 threes in the first half. And they're like, I know. That's why I'm here too. And then you'll fall in love together.
Perfect.
Who are you giving it to, Matthew?
I'm going to give it to Grayson Allen because I forgot he played for the Suns.
Oh, man. Booker's the Jamstar. Katie, honorable mention from David Ray. Grayson getting grayer from Boyd. Jamstar. Bud for getting Bull off the fucking floor. Yeah, Bull came into this game because the Suns were up so much. And, we haven't played this in fucking forever.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's...
Bull, motherfucker.
In typical Bull fashion, he only played 4 minutes and 28 seconds. He was 1 of 1. He had a nice little 3-footer that went in. A -4, grabbed a rebound. He's just ineffective. And Just didn't look good because he never does. Saul gives it to the
Yeah, he's
sexy
unplayable,
Silver
man.
Fox, which is Grayson Allen. Jamstar for being a sexy Silver Fox. Ryan, because I love him. Devin Armani Booker. It's done. Allen for points per minute. Boker, not Devin Booker, but Boker. Yeah, this one, fuck all you Bull haters, LOL. He's a point a minute. Yeah, that's because he plays a minute and he only scores a point. Bull's so ass. He's so not good. I wish we could trade him to like Indiana and get a second round pick for him or something, you know?
That'd
Like,
be awesome, yeah. Or
wouldn't that be
somewhere he can actually
amazing?
play, maybe, and they're just like, "Yeah, we'll try him out the rest of the
Washington.
season." Yeah, there
Here
you
you go,
go.
Washington. Take him. Give us a second round pick. Can we have one of our second round picks that we gave you for Chris Paul back or for Bradley Beal back, please? Please. Who is Boker? Dovin Boker. Yeah, I give it to Booker. I mean, 37 in this one, hit the game, clinching 3 ultimately, and another solid performance from him. You know, Kevin Durant, a little bit of a down game. He was still 8 of 16 from the floor, didn't shoot a ton, but 23 points, couple block shots, you know, a steal, a quality game from Kevin Durant, but he was 1 of 5 from beyond the arc, you know, a little rough there. So, yeah, let's talk about our thoughts.
Brains?
All right, so obviously, since the last time you and I spoke, the Suns have said goodbye to Josh Okogie, and they've welcomed from the Charlotte Hornets, Nick Richards.
Nicky, the great Nick Richards. Richard means dick, that's why he's Nicky.
Nicky, the great Nick Richards.
That's great, man. Is that AI?
The song is, yeah. Sunu.ai.
Nice, dude. That's really good. I like that a lot.
I really like how it explains that. It's like Richard.
I don't understand it, but I didn't understand the tweet either. So I'll maybe catch on a couple.
Here, I'll play it again. Listen to it.
Okay.
Nicky, the great Nick Richards. Richard means dick, that's why he's Nicky.
Nicky, the great Nick Richards.
So, like, another word
I
for
understand.
Richard.
Yeah, I know it's dick.
What?
Yeah.
It's dick.
Yeah,
I like how I have it so it explains there.
Yeah, and I
It's like,
can't even
Richard
get
means
that the
dick.
first
That's
time.
why it's Nicky, Dicky.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. Thank
So
you
Nick
so much.
Richards, what are your thoughts on Josh Okogie going? Nick Richards coming? What are you thinking?
You know, it's weird how the Suns team is still like ran by Twitter. I think it's kind of just it's mind blowing how fans we go a certain way, we want a certain player, we're excited about something, and we almost get it right. We get it usually every time. And the last thing is a Jimmy Butler. The Nick Richards thing, it's interesting. I'm kind of scared in a way. Like I'm interested to see how he develops on the court and stuff with his team. And there's a lot of athleticism there. There's a lot of drive there, right? He's not good with his hands as much, but I just want to see what he looks like. He's a rim runner, and I want to see how the floor is spread, how maybe we get some more fast breaks. Maybe we push the pace a little bit more with the dude. I'm just kind of nervous with all these transactions now panning out, right? I think we give it the 3 second round picks. We get the 1 back, obviously. I think wasn't there something out there that they wanted Nurk, but they wanted like an extra draft pick or something?
They wanted all of our draft capital, so they wanted that first
Okay.
round pick too.
Okay, so yeah, that's too much. It does hurt to lose to Josh Okogie. I don't know. I just want to kind of see it. I was interested to see that it happened. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad they made a move to get that center because we obviously need one because Nurk's going to be out of here soon. I want to just see it on the court before I have a real reaction. Is that okay? I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm excited. I'm glad they got another center.
But
let's just see how it looks.
I agree with you because this is a $5 million a year center who's going to have limitations. You know,
Yeah.
I was joking with a coworker today. He's like Timu Ayton, right? Like he, you know, if you know what Timu is, he's Timu Ayton essentially. Oh, Timu's like all that stuff you can get for really cheap from China. You'll get ads for it. It's like, hey, you can get 17 shirts for $3.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of what it is. It's like a discount Ayton because he has that same
Yeah.
archetype. Because what I do value in bringing him here is you do add another archetype that you didn't have. You had the same archetype in both Nurkic and in Plumlee. They're both thick, in their butts and their waists and their calves. Whereas Nick Richards is more, he's thick in his upper body, like Ayton was, right? And he has that rim running ability, and he has the shot blocking ability. So he's going to add a dimension to the Suns, but at the same time, he's not going to be someone who is going to make like a Giannis type impact. And I think Suns fans understand that. And losing Gio, and I think that this might, because I'm officially with you, this will be the last time we play this on this podcast until we play Charlotte next year.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that gun of yours?
But losing Gio, it sucks, but we knew it was coming. We knew yesterday was coming. They signed him to that deal for yesterday. So when they had an opportunity to meet a need of the roster, which they needed, they lost against Atlanta, and if they had Nick Richards, they would have won that. You can tell me otherwise. In my mind, they would have won that game if they had just boxed out 3 more times than they did. So that's why you designed that contract the way you did, to meet the need. And so that's what the Suns did. I'm with you. I'm excited to see it. Detroit's when he should be playing. That's kind of the rumor. Starting, I think, is going to take a little time. I think that John Gambadoro tweeted that out, that once he gets acclimated, he'll start starting. But the expectation is it's going to be him, Mason Plumlee, and Oso Ighodaro as your center rotation, and Nurk is not going to be playing, which is crazy unto itself. But we didn't just trade for Bill Russell. We traded for somebody who's going to give us a wrinkle, and I think that's what's important. It's the same thing with Tyus Jones. Like Tyus Jones with Booker and Beal hasn't been productive, which is unfortunate. But it still gives you a wrinkle, and it'll allow you to potentially win games if you can get your foot out of your ass and you can get out of your own fucking way and you can stay focused and don't play as pathetically as they did tonight against teams that shouldn't have any reason to gain any confidence. The Suns are a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's just I want to just point out too, Josh Okogie was my favorite player for this year. Him and Ryan Dunn, they're top 2.
Yeah, defensive
just because
guys.
when he's in, you notice them and you know exactly what you're going to get from those guys, and it's usually the most exciting part of the game. Now Nick Richards, he can come in and he can be dominant to start, just saying 12 and 10, 13 and 11, whatever he wants to put out there on the floor. If he is that guy, it's fine. If he's a difference maker, rebounding, and you get more athletic plays, there's not a whole lot of help rebounding anymore from the team, so they can kind of solely rely on one guy. That's going to be nice. It's just all these trades, all these transactions, we're running out of dough. We're running out of, we don't have any dough left. We don't have really any picks left, right? So
we have all of this picks, we just don't have tradable picks, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing because I'm just I'm still thinking about we still have Booker and Kevin Durant fully healthy and we still are having a hard time. So I'm thinking about that. I know they need help. They do. Maybe it helps with it. Maybe it doesn't, but I'm just thinking about that. And I'm stuck on that until I see anything different. But also it's just, Matt Ishbia trying to just buy his love with this fan base. It's coming to an end soon. And it's either going to come at the hands of giving this team all up to somebody else, like a Booker and Kevin Durant, or this does work out in the end within this year, next year. A lot of this just kind of scares me when I keep seeing transactions and stuff. That's how I feel when I see it. I don't get too excited until I start seeing something that's consistent. So
yeah, the doomsday scenario.
Sorry to be so sad about it. That's just the way I feel right now.
The doomsday scenario is around the corner.
I keep thinking of that.
And I know King Nacho, you go to every Suns podcast you can and you beat this drum, but you're not wrong. Beal must go. And that's kind of the linchpin. And I've been saying that for quite some time, that he's been holding the team hostage. We're the Nakatomi Tower and he's Hans Gruber and he's trying to hold us hostage at this point. But, time will tell. We're almost halfway through the season. That was game 40 tonight. And
crazy, man.
The Suns, they're 2 games out of the 6th seed. They're 4 games out of the 4th seed. I mean, that Western Conference is really compressed. And the Suns, if they can start to figure some things out, as ugly as it was tonight, a win is a win. And, next up for the Suns, they go to Detroit a team that's 21-20, a team that's going to give them some fits for sure. And it'll just be interesting to see how focused the Suns are, because right across the street is Devin Booker's favorite football team is playing Kevin Durant's favorite football team in a playoff game. So they might just go out there and be like, yo, let's play. And
it's like, did they move the game up an hour? That way they can get to the game. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Did they do it just for them?
That's what Joe Brigade put that out there. I don't know if that was real or not.
I don't think it was real, but I think it has something to do with like traffic and things of that nature. Like,
yeah, okay, yeah. Because I'm like, there's no way they moved it because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant asked for a favor. That's crazy.
They're like, hey, NFL, can you do us a favor?
Yeah, I hope I hope both those teams lose if the Suns lose.
Well, you won't be on the podcast on Saturday. Your birthday's this weekend, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to your Matthew. Happy birthday to you. So I should have a surprise guest.
Woo!
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's actually
this upcoming weekend.
A real surprise.
Yeah, someone who's never been on the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, first timer. So we'll see how that goes. Real quick, what are you doing for the Notre Dame game?
I was going to ask you the same thing today, and I kept forgetting because I was.
Well, you know what I'm
forgetting.
I'm flying to Atlanta, and I'm going to the game.
Are you really?
No, I'm having fucking Wingstop or something here. And
I thought that was your way of surprising me. Like,
sweating my ass
happy
off.
Birthday, dude.
Happy birthday. I'm sending I'm giving you a one-way ticket to Atlanta, nothing else.
Yeah, that's it. That's the cheapest ticket, like $80 Spirit Airline.
David Ray, that was the weakest happy birthday I've ever heard. That's good.
It's all right. It's as good as I want it, man. Yeah, I keep forgetting it's my birthday this weekend.
How old are you going to be?
36.
God bless you.
36,
unbothered over here. You know what I'm going to do once we're done here?
Poop?
No.
What?
Although I should after all this talk about. Do you know what I'm rewatching? Breaking Bad.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking about starting that with Nicole.
Yeah, we're already through like 2 seasons. It's so fucking good.
Whew, it's so good. And like,
I want to watch Better Call Saul now.
Is it the first time Shannon's seen it?
No, we watched it we watched it together.
Oh, you did?
During the pandemic.
So I was gonna ask you too. Like, I want to ask Jamsters too. Like, do you watch Breaking Bad first and because Better Call Saul is a prequel, but I feel like it's still better to watch after Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah. I've never watched Better Call Saul. I know that you love it and you say it's great.
It's so good.
It's
almost
so
as good. Yeah.
And it's funny because like the first time I watched Breaking Bad, I used to watch Breaking Bad when it first came out, like every Sunday on AMC, whenever it was, for like the half of a season. I lived with my cousin at the time. He watched it. I watched it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of nice. But I picked it up. It was like season 2 or 3. So I wasn't really into it. That being said, we rewatched it during the pandemic. Fantastic. Some of the best television I've ever seen. And you're like, you need to check out Better Call Saul. And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of done with that world right now. I wanted to go on to something else. So I think I watched Mad Men after that. But now as we were watching it, we went through the episode where Saul gets introduced, and he's just so funny, and he's so quick, and he's so like, I'm like, dude, yeah, a show around that guy's got to be hysterical. And so Shannon and I are like, yeah, we're going to start watching that. Oh, do you know who Pete Holmes is?
I do, but Better Call Saul, they have, I feel like, better characters. So
yeah,
the whole story of Breaking Bad, I feel like, is a better story. But the characters in Better Call Saul, really, they kill it with everybody that is introduced into it.
Yeah, so, we're definitely going to check that out.
You got to check it out. It's so good, man.
And then Pete Holmes, you know who he is?
Yeah.
He's funny. He's coming to Stand Up Live February 7th and 8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Pete Holmes he's definitely different. I don't think I've ever seen a comedian like him. He's very
so funny.
He's hilarious. I watched the new what's the guy that looks like us combined if we had a baby?
Nate Bargatze.
Yeah, he had a new one that was actually live from Footprint.
Yeah, it was good.
It was pretty good. It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you should check out tickets to that because Shannon, Ashley, and I are going next.
Pete Holmes. Where's it at?
The 7th Stand Up Live downtown Phoenix.
Wow, that's a small place.
Right next to
Holmes?
Copper Blues. Yeah, Louis C.K. is going to be there in early March. It's like on a Wednesday. He's trying out new stuff. He's there on like
so it's not going to be as good. Okay.
No, yeah, he's trying out new stuff. He'll have like a list up there, but Pete Holmes is always funny. You should check it out.
Cool. No, I love tickets. All right, I'm going to look at Louis C.K. first and see.
All right. Well, sorry, Jamsters, how Matthew and I make our family plans here right on the podcast. We're like texting like normal people.
Yeah. Everyone just, oops, I just disconnected.
Oh, well,
All right.
tell the people what to do.
I'll go home with your family.
Happy birthday, man.